Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for joining tonight, whether you are live with us or you're listening to the recording later. I have some excitement about the topic we're on today as I've been doing my own processing with it and deepening this topic, which usually just relates to the mind, but I'm going to be including energy along with this. So our title for the class tonight is Training the Inner Critic. And what we're going to look at today is noticing the three inner voices in your head, and if you have them all, or which one is the loudest voice. So we have the inner critic, which speaks from fear and old conditioning. And that inner critic is the one that's always saying those very unhelpful comments like, you're fat, you're stupid, you're going to screw it up, you'll never get it, you can't have what you want, you don't deserve it. And that is the voice we want to have some strategies to back off. So that's the voice that you can be in charge of and you can take charge of. And just like you wouldn't let a 2-year-old drive your car, we do not want the inner critic running our mind and being the loudest voice up there. Now, another voice you could have in your head is the inner protector. Now, that inner protector is going to speak back to the critic and say things like, oh, you know what I always say to mine? Oh, thank you for sharing. You're so helpful. When it comes up. But everybody's going to have a different style, and we'll get into that too, how you want to speak to your inner critic. And then the other one would be adding in the positive, so we can call that your inner coach. And that inner coach is going to speak with compassion and wisdom. But instead of saying you're going to screw this up, it's going to say more like picturing or saying you can have this. And what we know is that it's more potent to not put it in a future language, to put it in the present language, like I am healthy, I am slim, I am successful, I am loved. Even if it doesn't exist right now, we want to claim it as if it did exist. Okay, there's a lot to say on this topic, of course, like most topics. So, to be able to tune into that voice, we have to listen, because usually we're so busy and it's just kind of like a low. Do people have radios anymore? I don't think so. I'm going to need a new metaphor. It's like a music in the background. We used to say like a radio. Now what would it be? Girls, help me out. What would they call it?
I don't know, streaming music.
Yeah.
Just wherever we listen to music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Streaming music. That's what I was thinking.
Yes. So we don't want that streaming in our heads. And so the first thing we have to do is be aware and hear it, and then stop it and replace it. And that's what we're going to be covering tonight. We need to lead the conversation inside our head. And some days it's easier than others. We're not looking for perfection. We are looking for progress. Now, with that voice that comes in and starts giving the criticism, we don't want to debate it. We don't want to obey it. We want to train it. I love this analogy. The inner critic is like an untrained puppy. Thank you, ChatGPT. If you don't train it, it will chew up your peace of mind every day. Now, anyone with animals knows the truth of this, right? So we don't want that untrained puppy. We want to get that puppy and train it so that it will behave and respond to commands. I think both of you are animal lovers, so it's good to have you here. If I were saying in your ear, if I was hovering over you and saying, you're going to fail, you'll never change, people don't really like you. How long would you let me hover over you and say that? Not very long. But yet this voice in our head is like going on and on. And some of us have done a lot of work to calm that. And that's what we're here to do, is like take the temperature, do a check-in, like, how am I doing with that inner critic? You don't keep, hopefully, friends around that are giving you that input. Family members, we have to tell them, back off, don't talk to me that way. Very often, we don't even realize the impact that that voice is having on us or what it's even saying. So I'm not going to ask everybody to share, oh, what is your voice saying? But I think we should take several breaths and notice, what is the agenda of your inner critic? What is it usually saying to you? And usually there is an agenda. And very often this voice started in childhood and we believed that voice. So you want to tune into, what is the voice saying? What emotion is it trying to create? What does this voice want you to believe? And very often that inner critic thinks it's protecting you. I did some really deep dive with inner critic in the 90s. I signed up for a spiritual growth program, Diamond Heart Work, and this was foundational for us. And they're like, we wouldn't build a house on a rickety surface or over water. And this is a foundational piece. Like, we need to be in charge of that inner voice. So during that time, I was like, what is my voice saying? My voice was saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. There's so much to do. You're not getting enough done. And as I sat with and felt with that energy, it felt like one or more dogs like biting on my heels. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And it creates stress. Like, just imagine if you had an actual dog like nipping on your heels saying, hurry, hurry, hurry. It's like, oh, it's exhausting. So your voice may be something totally different than what I've already said. But once you know what that voice is saying, then you can strategize how to deal with it. Does anyone want to share or have a question about this so far?
Mine is the same. You're not doing enough.
Ah, you're not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
I think mine is, you are not enough.
And that's a very common one too. Yes, I think Marissa Peer's whole foundational work was on you are enough, to turn that around. And she would write on people's bathroom mirror with red lipstick, you are enough, just so to get that message to come in. Yes. So it's so important to know what the agenda is. And I didn't have the notes that I have for today's class back then. So I was just trying to, figure out what was my style of working with that inner critic. And so I didn't, in those days, here's what I did. I got in bed and I said, I'm not moving until you shut up. I'm not doing another thing until you back off. I'm not doing this, not doing it anymore. And it stopped. So that's the good news. That's the good news. I said, I am not doing this. So what happens sometimes it'll strategize to come out some other way. So that's why we have to pay attention. So you can even notice, is your inner critic wanting to keep you safe? If I criticize you first, you won't embarrass yourself, you won't put yourself out there. Or if I make you anxious, you'll be more prepared. Or if I keep you small, you won't get hurt. And I think a lot of people have that one, like the fear of being seen, the fear of putting yourself out there. And so this voice, I want to say isn't evil, but it could come from a toxic parent, in which case, I don't know, I think it could be on the evil side. But if you think of this as like, okay, is this trying to protect me or help me? Because if it's a toxic parent, internalized toxic critical parent, we just have to say, back off, you are not welcome here. We want to interrupt this pattern. And this is what I didn't know when I did this work in the 90s is you don't argue with this voice to say, yes, I am enough, or yes, I've gotten so much done today. We don't argue with it, we interrupt it. And so different styles would be, one would say, no thanks, I'm not buying what you're selling. Another option would be, back off, I've heard enough. Like setting that firm boundary. Like back off, and this is where you might throw an F-bomb at it or shoot it or who knows what. Now, some people are really good with humor. That's not my first line of defense. But sometimes, like if that voice is saying, you didn't get enough done, you could say, oh, you're really helping me. You're helping me be productive. And, or, oh, there you are again. Thanks for your daily weather report. So however your style of humor is also a very effective way of dealing with that critical inner voice. Now, this is the one that I like, and it brings in the visual. So you can imagine a lion tamer with a chair and a whip saying, back off, I'm the boss, and cracking that whip and seeing that voice move away. Definitely move away. If that critic is coming towards you, you can just calmly say, get back, I'm in charge. And not bringing in anger to argue, but just that calm confidence. One of the strategies that I learned early days was that you could also imagine that it's a type of music that's playing and that you could change it to something else to make it funnier or slow it down. I like the effect of working with the auditory piece. So try that and see how that is. Another way to work with it auditorily is, I thought of a different one today too, like grabbing the mic and dropping the mic, or taking the mic and saying, I'm in charge around here, so you can do different things with the auditory piece and with humor. In hypnosis, we have a technique where we can dial volume up or down. And so it might even be interesting to turn the dial up and just hear how bad it is or hear how unhelpful it is, and then turn that dial down to say, yeah, we don't really need that energy in here. However, whatever you want to say to it, but play with a dial if you like that idea. Okay. What do you think your style might be? Like humor or just calm control?
I think I'd probably do the back off.
Back off. Yes. Yeah.
Be forceful.
Back off. Yeah, I like that one too, Evelyn. Just as back off. Okay.
I'll say not today, Satan.
Yes. Thanks, Satan. Yeah.
That's good.
It's a good one. Thank you. Any other ideas that I didn't mention? I just got an image of like holding, I don't even know what it would be, like a stick with fire, like back off.
Yeah.
So if you're visual, play with that. Auditory, so you can get creative. And then another technique that we do to move things far away is like move it out of your room, move it out of your house, move it out of your property, down the block, out of the county, out of the state, out. And so you can imagine these things getting further, this voice getting further and further away. All right, so that is how to interrupt it. Let's get to the fun part. Now, this would be where we're going to then replace it. And I actually hadn't thought of this, like nature hates a vacuum. So once we get that bad boy mouth to shut up, then it's like, okay, we want to give it a job of what we want it to do. And so we're going to silence that critic, but then replace it. So we want to cultivate a new voice and not do the false positivity that is so prevalent in our culture, which is really quite annoying to me. But we want to bring in some real positivity. We want to bring in truth, support. I was working with an example of, I live on a peninsula and I have to catch a ferry to make appointments and then make those appointments and then drive back an hour and a half and catch another ferry. And so sometimes on those days, if I don't have enough time, then I'm driving back like, oh, I'm going to be late. Oh my God, I'm going to miss the ferry. And then I catch myself. And what I do in that case is, because it's a car ferry, is I picture my car, I picture being on time in the line before the boat even gets there, like I'm there on time. And so that's the other thing, is we could picture confidence, love, health, energy. And so we want to imprint and implant these positive things. When we're saying those things to ourselves, like anything from I'm going to be late, I'm going to miss the ferry, my health is poor, this will never get better, like whatever the voice is, we want to fill in the opposite. And there's too many examples for me to precisely, but if you want to give me any, we can come up with the opposites today, or you can text me later and I'll give you some ideas. But I'm guessing you two brilliant women would already know what to say. So you can imagine racing for that ferry. It's going to create tension. So it's going to create physical tension, drain your energy, drain my energy, make me tired. What we want to do instead is shake that off and say, I'm on time, I'm on the ferry, I am supported, the universe shows up to support me. And notice the difference in the nervous system and the muscle system as you're putting that positive in. So the subconscious really responds much more powerfully to images than to worry. Oh, worry is probably my default if I'm going to have a negative. And so what we want to do is picture the positive instead. For somebody who feels like they won't like me, we can put in, I only need to be myself. I'm not for everybody. I'm here for me. I remember I used to have some social anxiety going to parties, and I would just, instead of feeling overwhelmed, oh, what am I going to say or do? I would say, you only have to talk to one person. And, it's just like giving yourself that. And then, of course, once that starts, it makes things a lot easier. Anybody have any examples or questions that you want to throw in here?
So, yes, I'm trying to think, what I'm saying with regard to health.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure what that voice is.
That's a really good example, Evelyn, because I wonder if it could be an energy rather than an actual voice command,
Oh, yeah.
right? So tune into the energy and then notice, is it fatigue? Is it hopeless? Is it heavy?
Oh, I see.
And then again, this is similar like that radio station that's playing in the background that we stop really noticing, but it's creating an impact on our our state,
Hmm.
right? Okay. So what do you think it's like hopeless or fatigue or dread or because I work
Mm.
with a lot of people who have some challenging health issues.
Yeah. Let's see. I would say like discouraged, beaten down,
Yes.
exhausted.
Yes.
Hmm.
So feel that as a tone,
Okay.
okay? So instead of a voice, feel that as an energetic tone. And we talk now about frequency, so that fatigue, exhaustion is going to have an energetic tone,
Mm.
right? And then it can certainly be very true that you're exhausted. But we want to like take charge of go like, okay, part of me is exhausted. Can I also put in another frequency, adding it into this? Okay, so we're not trying to be fake positive. It's like, yes, this exhaustion exists. And I don't know, maybe thinking of your grandchildren and just having that more happy thoughts. If, you know,
Okay.
yes. So you want to change that frequency of exhaustion and go, oh my gosh, well, it's exhausting and tiresome. And then you want to come in with changing this. I don't know. I just landed on this today, like change the song that's in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And that
good.
changes the frequency. So thinking of
Yeah.
something that is uh, more positive. Hmm. Oh, and with health things, you could put in positive words or images. I'm healthy and strong. My body is capable, like the words that would be the most attractive to you, whatever those are. So let's feel into that for a second, because it'd be nice to have a positive statement or image.
Yes.
Yes. And so both of you have had, so for anybody that's had map sessions, you could map the emotion, you could map the belief. And in this class, we could go either way. We can use map commands, or we could just come into this and say, yeah, that exhaustion is there. And what I know about you, Evelyn, is that you're a very capable, intelligent person. So we're going to say, my body is capable, intelligent. It knows what to do.
I like that.
I'm strong and healthy, capable, intelligent. And then you just picture yourself on a good day being, I don't know if you like to picture yourself on the sailboat or outside or, where just something
Okay.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, good. Good. Amy, did you have more words or more of an energy in your inner
More, more words.
more words? Okay.
Yeah.
And have you come up with a good antidote for it? And you don't have to share it if you don't want to.
I mean, kind of just simple. Well, actually, hold on. I know I do this. So let me think here. Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, that's what I'll kind of say. Something that's like, it's okay, you're fine. It's everything that needs to get done gets done. Um, like just that I know that I can be hard on myself. So it's kind of like just follow the flow, relax,
Yes.
everything that needs to get done will get done.
Yes. Good. Those are great. And that's another really good example that reminds me of one more thing we can be doing. In our culture, we're the culture of more, 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 more. And it's like, even when we have a to-do list, it's like next, 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 next. It's not, we're just haven't been trained like, oh, I did the first thing on my list and I get a check. So to break up the habit of any of us that have like there's so much to do, it's you want to breathe in between and say, so they in coaching language they call it celebrate your wins. And so you can take a gratitude breath. You can say, I did a good job, thank you for crossing that off the list. um, and it might seem a little bit fake, or and it's only because we are not used to giving ourselves credit, acknowledging ourselves, and taking the win. And what happens is our aura gets tight and hard and closed down. But when we take the breath to feel that, oh, I'm grateful that I got that one done, and breathe that gratitude energy into your body, it's very good for your physical health, your mental health, all of it. And then because we want to feel the progress, and they made a big deal of this in coaching training, is to like be sure you acknowledge yourself, celebrate your wins. One of my friends is always buying herself gifts for doing things. We go to a store and all the bracelets. She's like, oh, I'm gonna buy these for my acknowledgement gifts. And so I'd probably want to acknowledge myself with a piece of chocolate, but I need to change that up. So we're working on the gratitude breath. Good examples. Thank you for sharing. Now, the other thing that we want to remember is the subconscious does not really distinguish or know the difference between something that is vividly imagined and actual experiences. You know, the mind is such a pushover, and we don't take advantage of that aspect of it. We want to picture the thing we want and bring as many senses in as you can. Because if the body is rehearsing failure, rehearsing fatigue, then you're like, oh, let's rehearse the opposite. Let's rehearse being healthy, being vibrant. I mean, you can do this for any adjective and any feeling that you want, but you want to repeatedly imagine the success, the positive thing you do want. And then your nervous system will adapt to that in all the positive ways, in addition to being more calm, more confident, and more capable. And you're training your brain to have a different default response. And I think of Olympic athletes, when you see them up there on those ski jumps with their headphones on, they're putting those like positive, you got this kind of stuff. And the speed they're going to go around those turns, Lord have mercy. I don't know how they don't all crash and die.
Yeah.
Because when you put that much effort into something, you're like flying around there. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's very exciting. But I noticed that they almost always have a headphone going. And can you imagine the mental discipline that it takes to perform at that level? And we could just do a fraction of that and really help ourselves, right? So,
Right.
yes, putting in what we do want and stopping that, the ones we don't want. So the goal isn't to eliminate every negative thought, because the mind, oh, that's the other thing about the mind. The mind pulls to the negative. So we actually have to bring in a lot more positive to compensate for it. I don't know why the mind gravitates towards the negative. Maybe it's because there's a lot of neural pathways that make it lean that way. But the goal is to stop giving every negative thought the authority. And hey, ChatGPT came up with this, an acronym, so I will give credit where credit's due, and it's called HALT, right? And we want to stop. So the first thing is H, hear it. What's it saying? What's it trying to make me believe? What is it trying to stop me from doing or making me do? H is hear it. A, address it, and however, whether you want to use humor, lion tamer, or back off, or Hey, another thing you could do is like shrink it down and blow it down the block. You can try different things and have fun with it. So that's address it. And then you want to lead it to what you do want. So H, hear it. A, address it. L, lead it to what you do want. So get in that habit. I started today picturing myself in the weight and the body and the clothes that I prefer. And the last one is train it, because repetition creates new neural pathways. Every time you interrupt the old pattern and consciously choose the new one, you're teaching your brain a different default response. And we want those new positive responses. Why don't we take a minute to picture the positive and create that new neural pathway right now? I will try to zip it for a full minute. Notice what you do want. Picture it and bring as many senses as you can. What does it look like, feel like? Notice the emotions it gives you, whether it's calm, peace, gratitude, joy, excitement, confidence. And breathe that energy into your body, through your body, out into your energy field. And notice how that feels in your nervous system, in your muscle system, just in your overall mood. And is that easy enough to do? Good, good, good. Does anybody have any questions or anybody have any share about that?
I just pictured, like with not getting enough done, that balance, ease, kind of ultimately having the time versus feeling like I don't have enough. So the peace and calm that comes with that.
Yes. Thank you, Amy. I worked with a coach. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what the other things were. Time abundance, money abundance. I think there may have been another one, but it's such a common thing for people to feel like they don't have enough time. And I think there was a mantra around, I have enough time. Oh, there's more than enough time, I think is how Christian would say it. And so just start building that in. There's more than enough time. Notice how that feels in your shoulders and in your chest. There's more than enough time. Good. Thanks for that great example. Evelyn, what did you notice?
Well, what I did was I envisioned like a perfect day, what I would could do in a perfect day. Feeling good and having energy, and seeing people, and without symptoms. And
So it sounds like the theme is having energy to enjoy and engage in life. Like
yeah,
having the energy, having enough energy. Yeah.
yeah, and having like not having all the symptoms.
Yes. Right? In hypnosis, they always tell us don't put in the no or the not.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah.
Because then the mind is still focused on, it doesn't hear the no symptoms, it hears symptoms.
Oh, got it, got it.
I know. So it's like, okay, energetic, happy,
Right.
you know? Yeah. And it's almost like it goes without saying that there's no symptoms
I see.
when you're just feeling energetic and enjoying life and enjoying your friends and family.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, that makes,
Good
I like that.
example. Good examples. Thank you for sharing. Good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Uh, your inner critic may have the loudest voice or energetic presence, but it doesn't have to have the final word. So you can have the final word and you can change the frequency. You can change the words, change the frequency, change the energy. And I'm curious if y'all are going to like my example of change the music, you know? And that's one thing in early days when I started working with this, I would change it to like country music to make the voice even funnier. Like, you're not getting enough done. Just kind of make it fun. You can make it funny too. So play with if you like music or anything like that, and uh, get that lion tamer chair and whip out and say, "I'm the boss around here." Good. Well, thank you for joining. It really adds to the class to have examples and uh, solutions to work with other than just my own thoughts. So I appreciate your being here tonight and wishing you a good week, wishing you to notice what that energy and inner critic is doing. And I'm looking forward to hearing what your turnarounds are. So let me know how it's going. All right.
Thank
Thanks for being here.
Great. Thank
you.
you so much.
So welcome.